All right, let's jump right in, shall we? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of microloans, kind of exploring how they can be this incredible game changer for small businesses. And we're going to do it all through the lens of one woman's story, set against the backdrop of Lagos, Nigeria, especially during the holiday season.
Yeah, sounds fascinating.
It is. It is. Picture this, the bustling streets of Lagos, so vibrant as Christmas is just around the corner. And that's where we meet Bola, a clothing shop owner who, like so many entrepreneurs out there, is facing some pretty tough financial pressures.
Yeah, and Bola's story, it's something that really resonates, I think, because access to capital, it's often like the biggest hurdle for small businesses,
Yeah.
particularly in developing economies.
Right.
And it's especially challenging for women entrepreneurs
Oh, yeah.
who often face these systemic barriers when they're trying to secure traditional loans.
Yeah. It's true. It's like it does feel like the deck is kind of stacked against them sometimes. And the source material, it actually mentions how statistically women are less likely to be approved for loans and often face higher interest rates than men. It's like this hidden obstacle course they have to navigate.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where this whole concept of microloans comes in.
Right.
It's almost like a parallel financial system, specifically designed to support those who might be excluded from those traditional lending avenues.
I like that, a parallel system.
That-
Okay, so let's talk about this parallel system then. So in the story, Bola gets a visit from this character called Mr. Grant Money, which is a
Yeah.
very interesting name.
Yeah.
He seems to symbolize like that stroke of luck, that sudden opportunity that sometimes comes your way. But he introduces her to this idea of microloans as a potential solution to her financial woes. So what exactly are these microloans and how do they work?
Well, you can think of them as smaller, more accessible loans, often with more manageable interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
They're specifically designed to empower these small businesses.
Okay.
And a lot of the programs are tailored specifically towards women entrepreneurs. And the beauty of microloans is that they operate on a scale that traditional banks often overlook.
Yeah.
It's those small but crucial investments that can make all the difference for a business like Bola's.
Right, right. And the story really emphasizes that emotional shift that Bola experiences, going from feeling utterly overwhelmed to having, like even just a glimmer of hope. I imagine that for someone in her position, a microloan could feel like a lifeline. But is it really that simple?
Well, microloans are a fantastic tool. They're not a magic bullet, right?
Yeah.
It's Bola's resilience, her determination to just keep going, despite the odds. That's equally important. The source material actually cites some research showing that while, yes, access to capital is essential, the success of these microloan programs, it also depends heavily on the entrepreneur's drive and business acumen.
So it's a combination of resources and inner strength. It's kind of like you give someone the tools, but they have to build the house themselves, right?
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
The microloans, they provide the bricks and mortar, but it's the entrepreneur's vision and effort that ultimately shape that final structure.
And that brings us to a crucial point, right? What kind of support systems are available to help entrepreneurs like Bull not just access these microloans, but also build like truly thriving businesses?
Yeah.
The source material mentions a couple of organizations.
It does. It highlights the African Development Bank and the Women's World Banking Network. So what can you tell us about these organizations and the role they play in empowering entrepreneurs?
These organizations, they're really doing some incredible work, like on the ground work.
African Development Bank, for instance. They have a whole range of programs specifically aimed at boosting women's entrepreneurship.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about access to financing, of course,
Yeah.
but also things like training, mentorship, even networking opportunities.
It's great.
They recognize that financial capital is only one piece of the puzzle.
So it's like a holistic approach supporting the whole entrepreneur, not just their bank account.
Yeah, exactly. And the Women's World Banking Network is another great example. They have like a global reach, working with financial institutions in developing countries to design products and services that really meet the unique needs of women entrepreneurs.
I'm curious, what kind of information can someone like Bola actually find on these organizations' websites?
Oh, it's a gold mine of resources.
Really?
She can find details about specific loan programs, eligibility criteria, application processes,
Mm-hmm.
even success stories from other women entrepreneurs.
Oh, wow.
They often have these downloadable guides and toolkits
Mm.
covering everything from writing a business plan to managing cash flow.
Speaking of cash flow, that's a term that might be unfamiliar to some listeners. Could you break that down a bit?
Sure, sure. Cash flow is essentially the movement of money in and out of a business.
Got it.
Managing cash flow effectively, it's crucial for any entrepreneur,
Right.
but especially for someone like Bola who's working with, limited resources.
Right.
It's about making sure you have enough money coming in to cover your expenses,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And reinvest in your business. The website for the Women's World Banking Network, that's a great resource for understanding this.
Okay, excellent. It sounds like Bola's taking a really proactive approach here. She's researching these organizations, she's attending workshops. It's interesting how the story uses this fictional character of Mr. Grant Money to kind of represent that initial spark of inspiration. But then it quickly shifts to Bola actually doing the real work, like the due diligence. She doesn't just wait for a handout. She takes ownership of this whole process.
Right. Yeah, that's a brilliant observation. And it highlights this fact that even with the availability of resources like microloans, success ultimately depends on the individual's initiative and commitment.
Right. Absolutely.
The story emphasizes the importance of financial literacy,
Yes.
and that's something these organizations often prioritize.
What exactly does financial literacy entail in this context?
So it's about understanding basic financial concepts: budgeting, saving, debt management, investing.
Okay.
In Bola's case, it's also about understanding the terms of a loan, assessing the risks, and developing a realistic repayment plan.
Right.
It's about empowering these entrepreneurs to make informed decisions about their finances.
So it's not just about getting the money, it's about knowing how to use it wisely.
Precisely. Precisely. And that's where those workshops and mentoring programs come in handy.
Yeah.
They provide a safe space for entrepreneurs to ask questions, learn from experts, and gain practical skills.
It sounds like Bola is building a strong foundation for her business, not just financially, but also in terms of knowledge and support. What I find particularly inspiring is how she connects with other women entrepreneurs in the story. It seems like building that network is just as important as securing the loan itself.
You're absolutely right. Having a network of peers who understand the challenges and triumphs of running a small business, that can be incredibly valuable.
For sure.
It's about sharing experiences, offering advice, providing emotional support. It's about creating a sense of community and reminding each other that they're not alone in this journey.
Yeah. That sense of community seems particularly important for women entrepreneurs who often face, like unique societal pressures and expectations.
Right.
Having that network of support can make all the difference, can it?
Well, absolutely. It can be a game changer.
Yeah.
It's about fostering a sense of belonging, empowering women to challenge those societal norms, and creating a more inclusive and equitable entrepreneurial landscape.
It's amazing how the story weaves together these different elements. Access to capital, financial literacy, and community building. It paints like a much more holistic picture of what it really takes to succeed as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and it highlights the fact that these elements are interconnected and mutually reinforcing.
Right.
Access to capital can open doors,
Yeah.
but financial literacy ensures that those doors lead to sustainable growth. And a strong network of support that can provide the guidance and encouragement needed to navigate the inevitable challenges along the way.
So we've seen Bola go from feeling overwhelmed to empowered. She's researched her options, attended workshops, connected with other women entrepreneurs. She's clearly ready to take that next big step. But I can't help but wonder, what's going through her mind as she prepares to actually apply for the microloan? Is she excited, nervous, a mix of both?
That's a great question, and one that leads us perfectly into the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore the emotional journey Bola goes on as she navigates that application process, the potential hurdles she might encounter, and the ultimate impact that microloan has on her business and her life.
We're back, and I'm so ready to find out what happens next for Bola. She's done her homework, she's built up her network, and she's ready to submit that microloan application. I can only imagine it's a whole mix of emotions, excitement, hope, maybe even a little nervousness, right?
Oh, definitely. It's a huge step.
Yeah.
The source material actually highlights this study that found a significant psychological barrier for women when it comes to actually applying for any financial assistance.
Yeah.
There's this fear of rejection, of feeling of not being worthy, which can be really, really powerful.
Yeah, I can see that. It makes a lot of sense. It's not just about filling out forms, right? It's about putting yourself out there, facing that potential judgment. But Bola, she seems like a pretty determined person. Does she manage to push past those fears?
She does, yeah.
Good for her.
And That's a big part of what makes her story so inspiring. The way she tackles the application process, it really speaks to her character. She gathers all the necessary documentation, she polishes her business plan, and even practices her pitch to the loan officers.
Oh, wow. She's not leaving anything to chance.
No.
It's like she's treating this application as an opportunity to showcase not just her business, but like her dedication and her vision.
Exactly. Exactly. And that preparation, it shines through. The source material, it doesn't go into detail about the exact meeting,
Hmm.
but it emphasizes that the loan officers, they're impressed by Bola's thoroughness, her clear understanding of the market, and her passion for her business.
Okay, so I'm on the edge of my seat here. Does she get the loan?
She does.
Eh.
The approval comes through, and it's this moment of just pure joy and relief for Bola. But it's also a testament to the power of perseverance, right?
Yeah.
Of believing in yourself, even when faced with those doubts and challenges.
It's such a powerful validation of all her hard work. And it makes me think about something we discussed earlier. The fact that microloans aren't just about the money, it's about unlocking potential. It's about giving people the tools to build their own success.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the Bola's story is a perfect example of that. She doesn't just passively receive the money, she uses it strategically to invest in her business.
Right.
She expands her inventory, gives her shop a makeover, and even sets aside a budget for marketing.
Yeah.
She's thinking long term, planning for sustainable growth.
I love that. She's taking such a proactive approach. It shows a real understanding of how businesses work,
Yeah.
how to attract customers, how to build a brand. Does the source material mention any specific strategies she uses?
It mentions a mix of traditional and digital marketing. She distributes flyers in her neighborhood, partners with other local businesses, and also leverages social media to reach a wider audience. It's a smart,
Mm-hmm.
multifaceted approach that really reflects her understanding of her target market.
It's like she's creating a buzz, generating excitement around her shop and her unique offerings. I bet all those efforts paid off, especially with the holiday season in full swing.
They absolutely did. The story describes her shop bustling with customers.
Yeah.
The air is filled with this festive cheer and the satisfaction of a dream coming true.
Yep.
It's a heartwarming image that underscores the tangible impact of our hard work and the microloan.
Yeah. But I imagine the impact goes beyond just the financial gains, right? It must have been incredibly empowering for Bola to see her vision come to life, to kind
Yeah.
of prove to herself that she could overcome those initial obstacles and build a thriving business.
You're absolutely right. The story emphasizes this profound shift in Bola's confidence and self-belief.
Yeah.
She goes from feeling uncertain and hesitant to radiating a sense of pride and accomplishment. And that transformation, that inner strength, it's perhaps the most valuable outcome of this whole journey.
It's like that saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Bola's story is about more than just a single loan. It's about gaining those skills and that confidence to create a sustainable future for herself and her family.
And her story has this ripple effect,
Yeah.
inspiring other women in her community to consider entrepreneurship as a viable path.
Oh, yeah.
Challenges those limiting beliefs and
Mm.
shows that with the right support and resources,
Mhm.
women can build successful businesses and contribute to economic growth.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Bola's incredible journey, what's the key takeaway for our listeners today?
Well, I think it's a reminder that even amidst challenges, even when the odds seem stacked against us,
Yeah.
we all possess the potential for resilience and growth.
Yeah.
Bola's story, it shows us that access to resources like microloans, they can be transformative, right?
Right.
But ultimately, it's our own initiative, our determination, and our willingness to learn and adapt that truly shape our destinies.
Beautifully said. It's a story of hope, empowerment, and the power of believing in yourself. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire some of our listeners to take that first step towards pursuing their own dreams, whatever they may be. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And remember, the journey of 1,000 miles always begins with a single step.